You see that? So now, Gentile, sister, let's deal with that. Give me Genesis chapter 10, verse 1.
Bring it out.
Genesis 10 and 1, then we're going to go to first Esdras 8:69. Now, sister, question. Bible dictionary. Bible dictionary. All praise to the Most High. Find that. We got one right here. See, everybody got it. We got to edify our people. So now, I want to read something to you, and then we'll get the scriptures, okay? Because there's a difference between Gentiles in the scriptures. There's not just one Gentile. I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's read it out of the scriptures, right? Let's read it out of the scriptures. Read that first. Gentiles.
So this is Gentiles from the Sunderland Compact Bible Dictionary. Gentiles. Usually, it means a non-Israelite people.
You heard that? So usually, when the scriptures is talking about Gentiles, it means those who are not Israelites. Talk to the brother.
So cuando dice gentiles, el diccionario aquí dice que a veces se refiere de gente que no son israelitas. A veces.
So sometimes, right? Usually, it's not talking about the Israelites, right? Non-Israelites. Is that it on that? Yep. Okay, so now we're going to go into the scriptures and show you who the real Gentiles are and why we had become Gentiles. Because remember, there's a difference. There's a difference, right? So read that, Genesis chapter 10 and verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 1.
Bring it on.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
So now we're talking about the generations of Noah, right? So if you read 1 through 5, we're not going to read the whole thing. We're going to jump to 5 and see what God calls these people, right? Read.
But these were the isles of the Gentiles. Isles of the Gentiles.
So now the isles just mean the places, right? That's all that means. This is the places of the Gentiles.
Divided in their lands. Everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
So now it says that, right, he divided the isles after their families, after their tongues, after their languages, right? So now watch this. Go to get 2nd Esdras chapter 10. 8:69. Let's get that real quick. First Esdras 8 chapter 69. So remember, talking about the Gentiles. These are the real Gentiles, right? Read.
Is the book of First Esdras, chapter 8, verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites have not put away from them the strangers, the strange people of the land.
So the Israelites did not separate themselves from the strangers of the land. Let's see what those strangers are called.
Nor the pollutions of the Gentiles.
Of the who?
Of the Gentiles.
So if we were already the Gentiles, then we wouldn't have had to put away the pollutions of the strange people of the land who were the Gentiles. Now it's going to name the Gentiles. Read.
To wit of the Canaanites.
The Canaanites, Hamites.
The Hittites.
The Hittites.
The Perizzites.
The Perizzites.
The Jebusites.
The Jebusites.
And the Moabites.
The Moabites.
Egyptians.
Egyptians.
And Edomites.
And the Edomites. So these are the Gentile nations. These are the original Gentile nations.
Right.
The Israelites couldn't have been called Gentiles at that point because why? We was God's chosen people. And we knew we were God's chosen people. Jeremiah 46 and 1. Jeremiah chapter 46 and 1. Let's get one more on the original Gentiles. And then we're going to go into the process of when we became Gentiles. How you doing, brother? Youngster with the Adidas? Yes, you. How you doing? Good? All praises. Y'all should come over here and learn something for a second. That's all. That's what I want, right? 46 and 1. Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 1. The word of the Lord which came to Jeremiah, the prophet, against the Gentiles.
Against the Gentiles.
against Egypt,
against Egypt,
against the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt,
king of Egypt,
which was by the river Euphrates in Carchemish, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, smote in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah.
So now, there was a separation. The Gentiles came against who? Jeconiah, which is king of who? Right, so they came against Israel. So Israel didn't come against Israel. Now there was some inner family wars and tussles. We all had those all day, right? You argue with your sister every day. Now I'm just messing with you. But we have those inner family wars, but this was not talking about an inner family war. It said the Gentiles was coming against the Israelites, who were the king of Babylon, right? The king of Egypt, right? These are the people that had come against us. Now, when did we become Gentiles? John 7:35, and then 1 Corinthians 12:2. We're going to, with John, St. John. St. John. You got to speak fast, and I want to include the brother here as well, okay? I know I left you.
The book of John, chapter 7, verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles?
The what?
Amongst the Gentiles?
The what? Nope.
The Gentiles?
Nope, he don't, among the what?
The dispersed?
The what?
The dispersed?
You hear that, sis? So they were asking, was Christ going to go amongst the dispersed? What does that word mean? Yeah, but what does dispersed mean? Give me James chapter 1 and verse 1.
Bring it out!
James 1 and 1. Matter of fact, give me the prophecy. Deuteronomy 4:27. Right, I got you. I got you. I got you. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we follow. I mean, of course, when you're amongst your captives, you're gonna follow what they want to do.
So you gonna celebrate Christmas? Okay, then we ain't gonna follow what they gonna do.
That's right!
What's not in the scripture? Christmas not in the scripture?
Bring it out!
It is in the scriptures. We're gonna show you.
They're talking about your idols and
No. We got you. We got you. We got you. We got you.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 27.
Remember, we're just looking at dispersed, right? We're looking for the word dispersed.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
See that? Among who?
The nations.
So now you see why it says that will Christ go amongst the dispersed? Amongst the Gentiles, right? So we're just getting edification for the brother who may not know as well, right? So read that.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen.
Because when we were among the heathen, we weren't the most populated, right? We go into their lands, we're amongst them. So now that's why we were few in number. Go back to John 7:35. How you doing, brother? Come over here for a second. Come deal with us. Read.
Book of John, chapter 7, verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles?
Now why? Well, no. Matthew 4:15. Why would he say? Why would he say that? Will he go amongst the dispersed, right? Amongst the Gentiles. Now let's see who the Gentiles are at that time when Christ was saying, when they was asking him, will he go amongst the dispersed to the Gentiles? Let's see who those Gentiles are. Matthew chapter 4. We're gonna start at verse 15.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 15.
Read verse 14.
Verse 14. That it might be fulfilled.
Matter of fact, read verse 13. I'm sorry.
Verse 13. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is upon the sea coast, in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali.
So who is Zebulun and Naphtali? Right? 2 tribes of the nation of Israel. So now Christ was going to the borders where they are. Read.
Verse 14. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles.
You see that? So okay, so sister, so who did God call Gentiles at that point? Right.
That's where they were at.
Right.
So here it says 18, Jesus walking by the sea of Galilee saw the brethren, Simeon and Peter.
Right.
They were amongst them.
Right. I know she did. Read verse 15 again.
Verse 15. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali.
Tu nacionalidad? Mexicana? Mexicana aquí. Issachar. En la Biblia. See? You understand a little bit of what I'm saying, right? A little bit? Más o menos? Okay, a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try to talk slow. Read that again.
Verse 15. The land of Zebulun
The land of Zebulun,
and the land of Nephthalim,
the land of Nephthalim,
by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan,
beyond Jordan,
Galilee of the Gentiles.
Galilee of the Gentiles. So now he was going to deal with those who were called Gentiles. So who did he call Gentiles at that time? Which are who? Which are a part of what tribe? Right, but the northern kingdom, particularly, right? We're not even dealing with southern kingdom yet. We're dealing with northern kingdom. So northern kingdom at that time of Christ during the Roman captivity, they were called what? Now, why were they called Gentiles? 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2. Let's get the history on that. Let's get the history on that. We're gonna go there. Have you ever heard? You heard of the Apocrypha, right? Okay, so we're gonna go get some history out of there as well, right? Read.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2.
Bring it on.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols.
So now you heard that? It says ye were Gentiles. Now he's talking to the Corinthian church, right? So this is what one of the missions that Paul went on. He said, ye were Gentiles carried away to dumb idols. You know the history on that in Hosea? Okay, let's get that. Hosea chapter 4:17. And then let's get 4:17 and start there. I know you're flipping through the scriptures, right? Okay, all praise to the Most High. So it said that ye were Gentiles carried away to dumb idols. Who conquered the northern kingdom? Do you remember? That's okay. That's why your brothers are here. So remember, Salmanassar carried away the Israelites, right? Now before that, the king of Assyria, they were conquered by the Assyrians. So during the Assyrian captivity, they were forced to worship dumb idols. During the time of Salmanassar, right, they were forced to worship dumb idols. So now we're going to show you what it means they were carried away to dumb idols. Read what you got.
The book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols.
You know who Ephraim represents, right? So Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. That was the son of Joseph. He's the head tribe of the northern kingdom, right? Read.
Let him alone.
Leave him alone.
Verse 18.
So why did he say leave him alone? Because they were doing what? Worshiping dumb idols. So now we're going to get the history on that as well. But remember, in the New Testament, that's why the Jews didn't deal with the northern kingdom, because they were in idolatry. They weren't keeping the laws of God. So now let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Even as ye were led.
Verse 3. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed.
So now let's go get in the history, 1 Maccabees chapter 6, where the transformation took place, right? Didn't I say that? Oh, 2 Maccabees 6. I'm always a book away, huh? What's going on? 2 Maccabees 6 and 6. We're going to start there. Matter of fact, we're going to start at 1 and see the process. You don't have that?
I don't read the Apocrypha.
Why not?
It's not something
But what? Okay, we'll follow along today. And we're going to show you why you should read the Apocrypha. Hold on, let him get there. Yep, go ahead.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Before you read that, sister Kiara, I'm not going to forget that this time. Kiara, I got a question. So, if you had a book that only had 4 chapters in it, right? And say one day I'm your son and I'm 2 years old. You know they rip pages out of the book, right? And you in the kitchen cooking dinner, and I'm in this living room playing with your book. And say I go like this, right? You just bought the book off Amazon, and it got 4 chapters, and I say da 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 da, shh, 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 shh. Now take out one chapter. You gonna understand the full story? You were like, son, why the heck did you take out that chapter?
Teach.
And I ripped it into shreds, so now you can't even go put it back up in the book, right? You see what I'm saying? You can't put it back in the book because I didn't rip it to shreds, or I didn't put it in the paper
I
shredder.
know there's a lost book.
Ooh, so why you don't read it? Because watch this. Now if you don't get the full picture, you don't understand the full story. So then when we go into 1 Corinthians, and the Bible is saying that you were Gentiles carried away to dumb idols, and then we got to go show you the history in the first Maccabees and second Maccabees. Guess what? You don't understand it because you don't have the full story.
I don't get how Latinos are.
I'm gonna show you. We gonna show you. And guess what we gonna show you? We gonna use the Apocrypha.
Okay, it's in the Apocrypha.
We gonna show you out of the Apocrypha, the book that they don't want you to even read. That book was outlawed in what? In Jamaica? So why? Why would they outlaw a book in Jamaica? Because it ties in the 4 chapters. It ties in the full story. So watch this. Read.
Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6.
Bring it on.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So he couldn't even profess himself to be a Jew. You know the time that this was happening? This is during the time of the Greek captivity. Right? So even during each captivity, it got worse. Remember during the time of Daniel, that was Babylonian captivity, right? They made us change the names of Daniel, right? So he couldn't even call himself what God named him. So it was each captivity they moved us further and further and further away from who we truly are. So during the Greek captivity was the same thing. It wasn't even lawful for you to call yourself a Jew. Read.
Verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth.
No, keep reading. Keep reading verse 2.
Bring it out, huh?
Keep reading.
Verse
That's
6.
just to the sense. Yep.
Verse 6.
No, verse 2.
Verse 2.
Yep.
And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem.
No, read verse 1. I thought you started at verse 1. Read
Book
verse
of
1.
2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens
Where's Athens? Greece.
to compel the Jews.
To do what?
To compel the Jews.
Read.
To depart from the laws of their fathers.
You see that? So they trying to compel us to leave those laws. Nah, brother, don't worry about that. God ain't gonna do nothing to you. But we read in Deuteronomy 28 and 15 that if you don't keep God's commandments and listen to them, Kiara, what was gonna happen? Curses. So the other nations know that if we don't keep God's laws, we're gonna be under what?
Everything.
Under what?
What's your father?
We are going to be in captivity, and they're going to stay on top, and we're going to be on the bottom. So at this time, they were trying to compel the Jews to leave their laws. Keep reading.
And not to live after the laws of God.
See that? Read.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter.
See that? They wanted us to start taking on Greek gods. So pollute the temple of God, all profanation. Bring in swine's flesh.
Right.
They had a lot of whoredom in there.
Right.
Right? Bring in the idolatry. All these things they brought into our temple when they destroyed us.
Right.
Read.
And call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus, and that in Garzim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers,
Uh-huh.
as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Read.
The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
See that? When they brought it in, it was grievous to the people. Which people? Us. You see that? Read.
For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles.
They was in there getting it in,
Right.
disrespecting God,
Right.
and disrespecting His people.
Right.
Read.
Who dealt with harlots.
Who dealt
Well,
with
what?
With harlots.
That's why you see a lot of harlots and people walking into the churches nowadays.
Right.
Sisters walking in with tight jeans on and tight skirts on.
Bring it out.
You got the pastors dealing with the deaconesses and the deaconesses dealing with the ushers, and the ushers is sick, man. You got all type of foolishness because they polluted God's temple back then.
That's right.
They just brought it up today using the Bible.
Bring it out.
Read.
And had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places.
Read.
And besides that,
And besides that, so they even took it further. Read.
brought in things that were not lawful.
That was not what?
Not lawful.
They was bringing in things that was not lawful. Now they allowing sisters to come in church with pants on. Now they allowing brothers to come in church not having a beard on their head. Now they allowing the people to come in church not having fringes on. Now you're allowing the people to come into church on Sunday after the service, go down into the basement with pork in the griller. All sorts of unlawful wickedness. Read.
Verse 5. The altar was also filled with profane things,
Read.
which the law forbidded.
Which the law forbid. Read.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
No Sabbath days, no ancient feasts,
Right.
tabernacle,
Right.
Pentecost,
Right.
Passover,
Right.
new moons.
Right.
Couldn't keep that no more.
That's right.
Dedication, the feast of dedication, right? You can't keep that no more. And you couldn't even profess yourself to be a Jew.
Here we go.
So they was trying to move us far away from our heritage. Now that's why we up to speed today. And a lot of our people have no clue on how to keep God's laws, let alone who they are.
That's right.
Read.
Verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint
By bitter constraint.
to eat of the sacrifices.
What you think they was eating, Kiara?
Pork or something?
They was eating pork. They was eating all sorts of abomination. Bats, rats, cats, dogs, hogs, frogs, everything. All sorts of abominations. And we think it's a delicacy today.
Right.
They sent the boat out on the ship into the sea, put the net down, brought all the crabs in and the shrimp in and the lobsters in and the oysters in and the scallops in and put it on your dinner plate and said, hey, go ahead and eat.
Right.
And now we thinking it's good. No, it's not.
T.
Read.
And when the feast of Bacchus was kept,
You know what Bacchus is?
I heard of it, but I'm not sure.
So you ever heard of Bacchanal? You ever heard of what's that thing down there in Miami? The carnivals, right? That's what it is. How they dressing down there? What they doing?
But naked, pretty much.
Wait, they getting it in, right? All sorts of wickedness, all sorts of sin. You see where they got it from? So America, all they did was take certain things from each captivity, from Assyrian, Babylonians, Medes, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and then they brought it up to speed today. And now you think it's okay to wear pants.
T.
You see that? And now you think it.
Study that scripture, though.
We got you. We here to answer all things according to the Bible. That's why we are here.
That's right.
I'm getting ready to go.
Okay, give me 5 more minutes. I'm gonna speed through this. I know you are. Watch this. Read.
and when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
So we participated now at this point. Read.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen,
Of the who?
of the heathen,
Of the heathen.
by the suggestion of Ptolemy.
You know who Ptolemy is? He's one of the predecessors of Alexander the Greek. I don't want to say great because he wasn't great. The Greek. He's one of the predecessors. I'm sorry, no, successors. Successors, not predecessors. He's one of the successors. Came after him, right?
Against the Jews,
Against who?
against the Jews,
Read.
that they should observe the same fashions.
So now we're talking about the Christmases and the Easters. So what's today?
Easter.
What everybody doing today?
Here we go.
What is everybody doing today? They celebrating Easter, but they said right, that wasn't our law. That wasn't our history. That wasn't our culture. It never been. It was of the heathen, as the Bible just said. But what we do is now, because we don't know who we are, we're so far removed from our true heritage, which is the Bible, we're the Israelites, we now celebrate Easter willingly. We now celebrate Christmas willingly. We now celebrate the 4th of July willingly. We now celebrate New Year's, which is really not the New Year, willingly. Read.
And be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform
Here's the
themselves,
point, Kiara.
and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles,
So if you don't conform to the manner of the Gentiles, which are the heathens,
should be put to death.
see that? So now it shows you there's a real distinct difference between the Gentiles. There was the original ones, and then there were those who were converted. We've always been converted to Gentile mindsets, right? So that's all it really is. It's the mindset. So we're not the real Gentiles. So now we're trying to bring our people back out of the Gentile mindset and bring them back to who they truly are.
We used to scream black power. while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.